WWE TLC is this Sunday, and before we do begin, I do want to apologize for not being doing this as often. COVID has been very different for a lot of people, and for me, mentally, with work, COVID, riots. I've always said the past couple months you could pretty much make a bingo board, just put stuff on it and see if it happens. And sure enough, some of it has, some of it hasn't. But I do apologize for the months of delay. Also, I do apologize for how I look. COVID haircut is not a good thing. Took a little bit off the top, but if I didn't say it, you wouldn't notice. I also have a different setting just because of the holidays. I want to actually relax while I do something for once and not worry about everything, wearing a mask and whatnot. At least it does look symmetrical now that I look at it. Nonetheless, TLC. There's no catchy tagline because they're in the brand new Thunderdome in Tropicana Field. The Thunderdome, the old Thunderdome, is taken off due to basketball season. I believe. Again, my days are blending together, things are blending together, so I don't really know. But what I do know is this card, which is good. First off, and again, there are no kickoff matches as far as we know. There may be one made after we do this. We'll see, but I don't know. Nonetheless, the Raw Tag Team Champions, the New Day, defend against the Hurt Business, and that may surprise some people because we were off for a while. Basically, during the draft, the Street Profits and the New Day of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston swap shows, therefore swapping titles, which answers a question I've had for a while. What happens when the tag champions are doing something? Like, what happens when the tag champions, go to a different show? Like, because it is the Raw tag titles and the SmackDown tag titles, and we found out they just swapped titles, which honestly makes sense. Instead of making them change colors, they literally just change colors, and they don't change the color of the title, but you're basically changing the color of the belt because it doesn't really matter. It's a tag team division for a brand, basically. It's a long-winded explanation, but you know what? We've been gone for a while, so we do have to explain things a little bit more. So New Day is on Raw, but Big E is on SmackDown. So they split the New Day after almost over a decade of being together, being one of the best things about the tag team division. They faced the Hurt Businesses, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Alexander joined after just destroying the group of him, Ricochet, and Ali. And we'll get to Ali later if he's on this card. I doubt it, but Ali is a part of Retribution, which we'll probably talk about a little later. Nonetheless, New Day wins. I would love Shelton Benjamin to have a title run. I would absolutely love it. But it's not going to happen. I just don't like it saying that, but it won't. Speaking of things that may not happen, the WWE Women's Tag Titles. Originally, it was going to be Lana and the Raw Women's Champion Asuka, but due to shenanigans and destroying a leg and putting her through tables every other week, there's actually a Slammy Award for Rivalry of the Year. Excuse me, I have a little bit of eye allergy as well. So if I do this, just forgive me. It's gotten a lot better, but, it is what it is. Allergies. It's not COVID. It's just eye allergies, ragweed, seasonal bullshit. Nonetheless, Asuka and originally Lana was literally being put through tables every week for like 10 weeks in a row. It was a streak unimaginable, and the legendary streak of Lana being put through a table every week because Rusev is now Miro in AEW. At least that's what I think is the reason. It was broken because Asuka helped Lana. Lana beat Nia Jax in a match, which seems more impossible than ever. Lana was the sole survivor in Survivor Series by just standing on the steel steps. Aiken of Ric Flair 92 Survivor Series, I believe, or 91, 92, where he was the sole survivor by doing absolutely nothing and being on the outside of everybody else brawled and got themselves disqualified. Belair and someone else got counted out. Lana was the sole survivor, which is awesome. Lana needed this. Unfortunately, due to the walking Nia ability herself and patient zero, because she doesn't want to get the COVID vaccine, Nia Jax has injured Lana, so Lana is out of the match. So over the past few months, Baszler and Nia Jax have an unlikely alliance. They've actually been a great tag team, honestly. But they face a Raw Women's Champion, Asuka, and a mystery partner. People are assuming this could be Charlotte. This could be an NXT call-up. I usually go with the mystery team, but Nia has been a walking liability instead of a walking liability. That makes sense for the stupid people out there. Nonetheless, and basically putting people's health in worse than being a WWE superstar, because the bumps and the bruises, but, putting it worse by basically being an anti-vaxxing Karen. And probably the biggest Karen in history. I mean, look at her. She's fucking huge. She takes a quarter of the screen. And it's not a fat thing. It's just, she's a fucking big woman. Like, and you're not going to protect yourself? Protect that mass with a fucking vaccine that could save your life? Fuck you, Nia. Honestly, this segment is fuck you, Nia, basically. Because I just hate her. I've hated her for injuring Kairi Sane, basically retiring her, fucking just unsafe. If she was not The Rock's cousin, she would have been gone years ago. She has potential, but honestly, just fuck Nia. That's my opinion. Whether you like it or not, I don't give a shit. Nonetheless, before we get sidetracked again, I will pick the mystery team of Asuka and maybe Charlotte. It could be Charlotte. If it's Charlotte, it's guaranteed to win because it's Charlotte. But, it's just, Charlotte wins all the time. It's fucking Charlotte. But nonetheless, I would love it to be an NXT call-up. Maybe Rhea Ripley. Maybe Raquel Gonzalez even. That'd be a good team, Asuka and Gonzalez. Gonzalez is fucking great as well. And we'll get to her during a takeover one of these days. But, again, Mr. Team wins it. Next up, Sasha Banks, somehow, some way, against all odds, the streak is over. Speaking of streaks, she actually defended a championship. It's a fucking bigger deal than I'm making it. She defended a title. Like, that never has happened ever. And with the tag titles, I would say it was mostly Bayley was the reason she retained. This is her retaining a singles championship. It is history-making. It has never happened. Ever. Like, it's fucking huge. And she faces Carmella. A brand new Carmella. An amazing Carmella. The best Carmella we have ever seen in years. Carmella will win the title. Guaranteed. She's just incredible. She has evolved herself to something maybe Eva Marie-esque. Mandy Rose-esque. Like the... whatever the fucking Emelina, whatever the fuck it was, kind of deal. But she's making it work. No one has made it work. This Emelina, whatever the fuck that thing was back in the day, of fucking Emma just being beautiful. That was the gimmick, basically. And then they gave it to Eva Marie, and then they gave it to Mandy Rose, and then they gave it to Carmella. It's a weird evolution of it, but I like it. I honestly love it. And Carmella will win. Sasha Banks does not need a title. Honestly, we've proven that by her never retaining a title ever in her life, in her career. NXT, WWE, maybe she defended NXT, I don't remember. It's, like I say, years, days. With COVID, every hour blends together. So I apologize if I am fucking something up. But Sasha does not need a title. It has been proven. And her forehead, quite frankly, is bigger than mine, looking at this video. Somehow, with every title reign, much like the Grinch's heart, her forehead gets larger every title reign. It's unbelievable. Look at her career when she started. Look at her forehead back then. And look at her forehead now. I know my forehead's fucking big, but at least I accept it. She has not accepted her fucking big forehead. And goddamn, fuck her forehead. And this might be part of the top of the skull too, so fuck it. Fuck her forehead. I mean, like, what the fuck? How do you have that big of a forehead and not cover your hair? I mean, look who's talking, but I had allergies. Hair was going into my eyes. I haven't cut my hair since fucking May, and I shaved it all off. And it's finally growing back, and then I fucked it, took a little bit off the top and fucked it. But with her, it's a daily thing with her and her fucking hair. It's fucking blue now. Like, what the fuck? How do you keep it blue and not put it over your fucking forehead a little bit to make it look smaller? It may be a nitpick, but fuck. Carmella wins just because of her fucking forehead. Just fuck Sasha Banks in her forehead. Next up, something I am very, very excited for. The first ever historic Firefly Inferno match. As Bray fucking Wyatt, the Fiend, whatever he is, has been the best part of Raw for months. Alexa Bliss now being a psycho fucking Chucky, Bride of Chucky, whatever the fuck. It's incredible. It's the best she's been ever. And the Fiend faces Randy Orton in a Firefly Inferno match. Randy was reported to be champion, lost it back to McIntyre, who had it since the COVID era at WrestleMania. Excuse me. I don't know how you win this. Is like the fire puppets. I would love to see puppet fire. Think of the shit they can do in this match. Basically, obviously, an Inferno match has never been done like this before. I want to say you win by being put in puppet fire. I don't know. I'm excited for it, obviously. But Inferno matches, I think the last one was MVP and Kane in 2006, 2006. It's been over a decade for sure. These are very dangerous matches for very obvious reasons. Fire is bad. You know, but I would love to see fucking puppet fire. Like, as stupid as that sounds, they would make it work. And with that, ironically, this is the Fiend's, Bray Wyatt's first ever Inferno match, because the last time he was in a Ring of Fire match, which is basically the same thing, except they somehow got rid of the fire and they pinned somebody instead of putting him through fire. But, you know, I want to say you just get put through a puppet fire and you lose. Could be pinfall submission. I don't know. I don't care. I love the idea. Fiend obviously wins because it's his match. Fuck, it's great. Next up, in a TLC match, Universal Champion Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns has been the best he has ever been. Like, this is pure heel Roman. This is what he should have been years ago. And I know people are saying, oh, Roman's great now. But Roman, honestly, ever since coming back from COVID scares and leukemia, has been the best he's ever been. Even in leukemia, he's been great. I'm sorry, not in leukemia. Obviously, he still can get it. But after leukemia, he was great. During this COVID thing, took a break with family, and his, obvious immunities and shit was completely understandable. And he his wife just gave birth to twins during that time. And a lot of people know that, but, it makes a lot of sense during what this world is now. I like to call it a COVID era of WWE and a COVID era of our world. But he faces Kevin Owens in a TLC match. For those who haven't seen it in a while, once a year, we have to explain. Tables, ladders, and chairs are legal. You climb the ladder, you get the title, you win. Anything else goes. And Owens took a hell of a beating last night. Somehow, some way, is still standing. You have to commend him for it. Jey Uso had the rivalry of the year, in my opinion, for at least as far as WWE. He put his Samoan heritage on the line, and on a weekly basis, he has somehow lost his Samoan heritage, and some weeks he gets it back. Somehow he loses it. Jimmy Uso is no longer Samoan, by the way, because for the first time in maybe 25 years, the Wild Samoans were at ringside, were on WWE television even. The significance of that is huge. Alpha and Sika, I don't know their relationship now, but to have Roman's uncle in Alpha, Roman's father in Sika, one of the greatest tag teams of all time, making you the head of the Samoan bloodline, the NIYE family, a legacy of fucking beasts and fucking savages, not, literally. Not a derogatory term at all. We've seen Umaga. We've seen the Wild Samoans. We have seen, I'm going to say Kamala, but fuck. If he could be Samoan at this point, fuck it. Kamala's Samoan. Fuck it. That is my new ruling. Kamala's a Samoan. Fuck it. He is a Samoan forever. Fuck. But, the legacy goes from The Rock to fucking Haku, who's one of the toughest motherfuckers ever in this business and in the world. But Roman, the significance of it is huge. And the significance of Paul Heyman being his spiritual advisor, his tribal chief, whatever the fuck you want to call him, Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns is something we have never thought of ever. I don't think anyone would have thought of that. I mean, there were rumors, there were, kindlings of it in years, of a relationship, but we never thought it would happen. Kevin Owens, on the other hand, he would desperately need this win. I don't know if it happens. Of course, Jey Uso is basically Roman's lackey and basically redeeming himself in his Samoan heritage, losing it and winning it on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Every SmackDown I have said, will Jey Uso remain a Samoan? Will he lose his Samoan heritage? And some weeks he loses it, some weeks he wins it back. It's a redemption angle of Jey Uso, basically. And it's great because it makes SmackDown watchable. It's like, is he going to remain a Samoan? And that's probably not the point of him losing an I Quit match because his brother was being destroyed and he quit to save his brother. Basically, he lost his Samoan heritage at that fucking show. Jimmy Uso has not been in months. He is no longer a Samoan. His family is no longer Samoan. Jimmy Uso, or Jey Uso, whichever fucking Uso is still here, as of last night, is a Samoan because he fucking used his savagery and he destroyed my motherfucker. Buried a motherfucker in ladders, tables, and chairs. Roman's beating him with a piece of a broken table. This is the Roman Reigns we have needed for years. And Roman fucking wins because it's Roman. But if Kevin Owens wins, it is the upset of the year. Guaranteed. And finally, Drew McIntyre defends in a TLC match against AJ Styles, who has Omos, the large, I want to say over 7 foot tall man who was the bodyguard for Shane McMahon and Raw Underground. And I loved Raw Underground, and it's a shame it's done because of NXT and getting COVID all the time. Performance Center dudes getting COVID all the time. It's unfortunate, but it will bounce back, and some of those people were drafted, and we'll see them soon, and they have been very impressive. But nonetheless, Omos is a fucking star. And I don't say that about big men a lot because we know the history of big men in this business. Khali is a huge example of that. But I see Omos and I see money. You can make him a star. He has the look. He has the talk. He can fucking talk. Which, again, big men aren't good at. We haven't seen him in the ring, so I don't know what he is ring-wise. I would love to see it. He was obviously the giant ninja for Tozawa because it was obviously him. No one's that big in WWE like he is. He has to be over 7 feet tall, for sure. But AJ has had him as a bodyguard or an associate of sorts, and it's been very helpful for him over the past few months. Drew McIntyre got a fucking sword. I don't know how, but he got a fucking sword, and it's great. Been champion for forever. Won it back against Randy at Hell in a Cell, I want to say, one of the shows. But McIntyre has been this is the run of his career. This entire year has been his best year ever. And sadly, it ends with AJ winning the title. Because AJ, it would be a great moment. But that's the good thing. We're at the road to WrestleMania. The Rumble's coming up. Drew could, again, have that road to WrestleMania like he did last year, which was great for him. But his best year he's ever had in his career, guaranteed. AJ wins. I would not be surprised if Drew retains, but think about it this way. And this is how I see it logically. They won't do this, but Omos, again, is basically over 7 feet tall. And you can't teach that, as we have learned over the years. You just cannot teach it. It's unteachable. But Omos, I believe, if he climbed a ladder that was proportionate to how they hang the title, could maybe take 1 or 2 steps, 4 at the most, and just grab it. He's that fucking huge, and that's why you don't usually see a big man in a match, because they have to make the title hang even higher because he's fucking huge. Honestly, AJ can just have Omos put him on his shoulders. He is the ladder at that point. Use Omos as a ladder. Fuck it. That's what I want to see. That would be brilliant. Obviously, they will not do that because it's so simple. But that's how I see AJ winning. Because it just makes sense. And WWE has never made sense ever in their lives, so it won't happen. But I would love it if it did. And with that, TLC is a Sunday. This is actually a better card than most of the cards of this year. I'm actually excited for it. Then again, I'm excited for everything mostly because of fucking COVID. And I've been at home for a while, and it feels good to just do something like this again. So I thank you for sticking with me. I apologize for not doing this as much, and we'll see you soon.